An extended Disney princess scene, cameos by Kylo Ren and the Golden Girls, plus more Fix-It Felix and Calhoun are just some of the many scenes cut from Ralph Breaks the Internet. Yippee-ki-yay movie lovers, it's Jan here, and today I'm revealing everything that was deleted from the Wreck-It Ralph sequel, including some incredible cameos and jokes you may wish had been in the movie. Keep watching to the end to find out the amazing extended Stan Lee scene that didn't make it into the final film. My Funko Pops giveaway is also running on this video, so hit the bell and tap the Gleam link in the video description to enter. Mild spoilers ahead, though I've kept them to a minimum, and there are no spoilers for the ending. The Disney princess team-up in Ralph Breaks the Internet is one of the movie's highlights, however originally the scene played out rather differently. In early versions of the story, Vanellope, Ralph and Yes were all at Oh My Disney together and saw the princesses greeting fans there. Yes gave Vanellope a tour of the Disney fan site, and stormtroopers escorted the princesses backstage where Vanellope followed them. Footage shown at Disney's D23 Expo in 2017 also revealed several extra jokes that were cut from the final film. For example, Jasmine was allergic to cats and her pet tiger Raja looked at her slightly offended as she puffed on an inhaler. And Snow White always looked surprised because she was secretly legally blind and needed a pair of thick glasses. C-3PO also originally had an extended scene with the princesses after he arrived in the green room to tell them there was another Which Disney Princess Are You quiz about to start. In the deleted footage, Cinderella replied, "Why thank you, R2-D2, and the other princesses joined in poking fun at him. Sleeping Beauty told Cinderella that the Star Wars droid hates being called that, but then trolled him with the line, "We'll be right there, BB-8. C-3PO, feeling mortally offended, walked out mumbling, "Such insolence! You're good with princesses," they said. "You'll love this job. Oh, how I long for the days of Captain Solo." These extended jokes were probably deleted to create better comedy timing in the scene and better pacing in the movie overall. But I wonder whether the C-3PO jokes ended up being trimmed because some Star Wars fans were disappointed that their iconic Princess Leia didn't appear in the scene. The Wreck-It Ralph 2 filmmakers decided to only use so-called canonized Disney princesses from the official Disney line for the scene, excluding various other princesses from Disney animated movies and Disney-owned properties like Star Wars. They did, however, add Elsa, Anna and Moana, who aren't part of the official princess lineup, but they are hugely popular and it's rumoured they'll be joining the official list soon. By the way, Vanellope taking selfies with the princesses doesn't appear in the movie either, though it's unclear if that's part of a scene cut from the film or a moment just created for marketing. Just before Vanellope and the Disney princesses meet, there was going to be another extended Star Wars crossover scene. After the hoodie princess gets accused of peddling unauthorized clickbait at Oh My Disney, she escapes from the stormtroopers, and in an extended version of this scene, Vanellope jumped onto Dumbo and flew off with the little elephant while getting chased by TIE fighters. In the final movie, the Star Wars chase is stripped right back and shows Vanellope fleeing on foot from the stormtroopers before cutting straight to her glitching into the princess room backstage. Another scene we never saw involved a joke at the expense of Star Wars baddie Kylo Ren. Lucasfilm objected to how he was going to be portrayed in the animated movie. Co-director Rich Moore explained there was a joke about Kylo Ren being kind of a spoiled child, but after they took it to Lucasfilm to show them what they were doing, they said, "Well, we prefer that you don't show him like that. You know, he is our villain and we prefer you don't do that." It seems a shame this Kylo Ren cameo got cut, as the jokes in Ralph Breaks the Internet are generally gentle jibes that affectionately parody characters from Disney's broad range of properties. And I imagine the Kylo Ren joke would have got quite a few laughs, especially as the Star Wars villain certainly has form when it comes to acting out like a spoiled child. It's also possible that with the current Star Wars trilogy about to complete in Episode 9, Lucasfilm were concerned the joke might cause some kind of problem for where they're taking Kylo Ren in their next movie. A Star Wars-inspired character, Double Dan, who has a Jabba the Hutt-style appearance, also had an additional scene deleted. When Ralph goes to the dark net with Spamley, he meets the half-human, half-worm character Double Dan, and the second head he has living in his neck.
What are you doing here?
The reason I came to your neck of the face. I mean, there's a face in your neck. I mean, woods. Neck of the woods.
Originally, there was going to be a Lady and the Tramp moment here, where we see the two Dans eating a virus together, and just like the iconic spaghetti and meatballs scene, the two Dans end up kissing. There's a stack of Disney cameos in the movie's Oh My Disney scenes, but originally the 4 lead characters from the popular 80s sitcom The Golden Girls were also going to make an appearance. The idea for these cameos came when the filmmakers were researching the real-life Oh My Disney website and noticed the Golden Girls featured heavily there. However, during early screenings of Wreck-It Ralph 2, some people were confused about why Blanche, Rose, Dorothy and Sophia were in the scene, and so they ended up being cut from the film. Although the hit sitcom aired on NBC, it was produced by Disney, and the 4 actresses received Disney Legends Awards in 2009, so it is a real shame they didn't make it into the movie. In fact, co-director Phil Johnston has said it's one of his biggest regrets. Although fan favourite Tinkerbell did make a very brief appearance in Wreck-It Ralph 2, when Vanellope rushed past her backstage at Oh My Disney, originally Disney's best-known fairy had a larger role in the movie. In footage shown at D23, there was a scene where Tinkerbell tickled Ralph's nose until he insulted her by calling her stinker smell. This might have been a fun little moment, so I imagine it was cut simply because the filmmakers changed the story and Ralph no longer accompanied Vanellope on her visit to Oh My Disney. Fans of Fix-It Felix and Calhoun may be a little disappointed that the pair got a much smaller role in the sequel, although they did get to deliver some hilarious perfect parenting advice that none of us will ever know the truth about. But the original story envisioned a much bigger role for the couple, as during the second act we would have seen how the pair were coping with trying to bring up a horde of unruly racers. The way this was initially going to happen was that there was going to be another character in the movie called Bev, who was not only the head of an antivirus company, but was also a secret villain who was tracking what Ralph was doing on the internet, which led her to the arcade. By returning to the arcade midway through the movie, we would have got more screen time with Felix and Calhoun, but once the Bev antivirus plot was dropped, of course that didn't happen. It does feel a bit like the duo's story was a little abbreviated with something missing in the middle, but at least now we know why it feels like that. The Pancake milkshake game was an instant hit when it debuted in the film's first trailer, and originally it was supposed to appear in the main part of the movie with Ralph and Vanellope visiting the game when they were loot hunting.
Whoa! Games! Out of my way, kid. Pancake. Milkshake. Milkshake. I'm starting to understand why people like this game.
Ralph, you might want to try feeding the kitty for a little while.
No! The kitty gets the milkshake. The bunny gets the pancake.
In fact, this scene was one of the first ideas to be fully animated. However, as the story developed, the directors felt that Ralph and Vanellope's loot hunting activities were dragging out too long. So they deleted the scene and went straight to Slaughter Race instead, to move the plot forward more quickly. The problem was, at that point, Disney had already started commissioning production of Funko Pops, plushes and other toys for the bunny and the cat. Fortunately, co-writer and director Phil Johnston came up with the idea of keeping the scene as a mid-credit stinger and turning it into a deliciously meta joke. Funnily enough, Johnston's fellow Wreck-It Ralph 2 director Rich Moore has confessed that he's exactly the kind of person who goes crazy when a trailer scene doesn't show up in the film he's watching. I wonder if he's also the kind of person who likes watching deleted scenes videos on YouTube. By the way, I reveal how Ralph Breaks the Internet trolls all us Disney, Marvel and Pixar fans in my other video, which I'll add links to at the end and in the video description. While developing the first Wreck-It Ralph movie, Disney managed to secure the rights to include Mario and Luigi from the Super Mario games. In the end, though, the filmmakers couldn't find a good way to include the famous video game characters in the movie. However, Rich Moore did state that he wanted Mario to appear in the sequel. Sadly though, by the time the sequel entered development, the rights were no longer available to Disney, meaning everyone's favourite Italian plumber couldn't appear in Ralph Breaks the Internet. Marvel Comics legend Stan Lee passed away shortly before the release of the Wreck-It Ralph sequel, making his brief appearance in the film a particularly poignant moment for Marvel fans. And it's especially sad that originally a much longer extended scene was planned for the comic book superstar. An earlier version of Lee's cameo featured a device called the Marvelizer, where avatars for net users would transform into a Marvel character after walking through a machine that looks similar to a metal detector. Stan Lee would have also walked through the machine, but unfortunately when the scene ended up on the cutting room floor, we never got to see just which Marvel character Disney thought Stan Lee was. Marvel fans will know there's a theory that Stan Lee's cameos in the MCU mean he's a character known as Uatu the Watcher, and I wonder whether we might have seen that theory confirmed. Now, do you wish any of these deleted scenes and cameos were in the final film? Let me know in the comments below, and remember to subscribe and click on the Gleam link in the video description for a chance to win an awesome Wreck-It Ralph Funko Pop. Congrats to the winners of my Grinch giveaway. Send me an email with your details so I can get your prizes sent out to you. Tap left to check out every secret Easter egg you missed in the Disney princess scene, or tap right for another video you're sure to like. And if you enjoyed this, remember to share and leave a thumbs up for more videos like this. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Yippee-ki-yay, movie lovers!